Starting today, the energy truce has come into effect. This was confirmed yesterday by the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, and personally by Donald Trump. And let's begin with President Zelensky's statement regarding the energy truce. And not only that,
Greetings, dear Ukrainians. First of all, my gratitude to our energy workers and repair crews, to everyone who is truly working around the clock to provide more electricity to the people. The task is extremely difficult, considering the scale of the Russian strikes that have occurred. Today, during the conference call, we heard reports from most regions where there are problems, a significant number of outages regarding electricity. All available resources are being mobilized. The situation remains most difficult in Kyiv, especially with heating issues. More than 450 apartment buildings in Kyiv are without heat. Buildings in several districts, most of them are. This is after the strikes. There is also a significant number of accidents. In fact, many of these situations have to be resolved manually. The government of Ukraine, state-owned companies, and other regions are involved to help, both with the supply of weapons to Ukraine and with the supply of energy equipment. The Ministry of Energy is now working on a daily basis, monitoring every situation. Agreements with our partners, all promises and support for Ukraine are being implemented to make everything happen. What our partners have in their warehouses and at their production facilities is also under virtually constant monitoring. Logistics to Ukraine and deployment within Ukraine. The process must be and is as clear as possible. Kharkiv and the region. Restoration is ongoing after the strikes. The circumstances were difficult. Chernihiv, Sumy, Kyiv region, Dnipro, Kryvyi Rih, all of Dnipropetrovsk region, Poltava region, our Donetsk region, Zaporizhzhia, Mykolaiv region, Odessa, Kropivnitsky and the region, Cherkasy region, Vinnytsia region, Chernivtsi, Khmelnytsky, Zhytomyr region. For each one, we are recording the needs and the possibilities to help. It is important that private businesses are supporting the communities, and that government officials are launching special budget support programs to purchase necessary items, generators, and other equipment. There is already a program that allows ordinary households to receive between 100,000 and 300,000 hryvnias for autonomous power supply. The Prime Minister has prepared a grant program for small businesses, for fuel, for generators, for repairs, energy equipment. There are already loans available at 0% interest for sole proprietors and small entrepreneurs to purchase generators and batteries. There will be additional programs as well. Government officials will present all the details. The Prime Minister, the Ministers of Reconstruction and Energy, and the team from the President's office are also working on this. I thank everyone for their support. There was a report from the Security Service of Ukraine. Alexander Poklad, the most important thing. The Security Service of Ukraine is neutralizing threats that, unfortunately, still exist against our state and against Ukrainian citizens. Every achievement by Ukraine in defense is an achievement in bringing peace closer to Ukraine. Poklad reported on Russian operations that were successfully blocked. I thank you for this. We are neutralizing the enemy. Today there was also a report from the Commander-in-Chief about the front, the Liptsi direction, the Pokrovsk direction, the defense in our Kharkiv region, our positions, we are holding them. It is important that Ukrainian units are strong with this strength, adding resilience to our entire state. Resilience. Almost every hour, our negotiation team is in contact, including Rustem Umarov and other members of the delegation. We are communicating with partners, with the American side, regarding truly effective formats and genuinely necessary results. Ukraine is ready for the meeting. Ukraine is ready for decisions. And we expect that our partners will be able to be as effective as possible in Europe, in America, everywhere. Exactly as needed for lasting peace, we are using every opportunity to achieve peace and guarantee security. I thank the American side for their efforts to stop attacks on our energy sector at this time, and we hope that America will succeed in this. Ensure air defense systems. Today, there was a statement from the President of the United States. The situation right now at night and these days, the real situation at our energy facilities, in our cities, will show this.
recently, we heard reports that the president himself confirms the entire story about what Donald Trump specifically said. noting that he directly asked Putin for information. I have this footage where Donald Trump admits that he personally asked Putin. This is how it all looked. He was talking to journalists at the White House. At this very moment, the President of the United States says, I personally asked Putin. Ask Putin not to shell Kyiv and other cities for a week due to severe frosts in Ukraine. He agreed, said Donald Trump. Well, we hope that. Besides agreeing, we also hope he will keep his word, because this is what the air raid alert map looked like. Today in our country, as of 5 o'clock in the morning, you can see that the center of our country, the south, the east, and the north of our country, these are the regions where air raid sirens sounded, which means that attacks by the Russian Federation on our country continued. And this in turn means that we can question the promises made by the Russian Federation. But what is worth noting is that tonight there was no air raid alert in the city of Kyiv. Well, I don't know, maybe Trump specifically asked not to shell Kyiv, but as you can see, he says, and other regions of our country as well. As for the shelling, unfortunately, the Kharkiv region was hit by the Russian Federation today. The enemy attacked with UAVs targeting an administrative building, which resulted in a fire. On the night of January 30th, enemy strike drones attacked an unused administrative building in the village of Veliki Burluk, Kupiansk district. As a result of the explosions, the roof of the two-story building caught fire, covering an area of 100 square meters. Fortunately, there were no casualties or injuries. These are the photos shared with us by the State Emergency Service. So, friends, as promised, let's go. This is what Zaporizhzhia looks like right now. This publication, this photo is being shared with us, Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration. I'm telling you what happened there. And I'm showing you a video, by the way, too. What the Zaporizhzhia State Emergency Service shared with us, then I will tell you what Mr. Fedorov tells us. So, Zaporizhzhia, rescuers eliminated the consequences of enemy shelling. On the evening of January 29th, the enemy attacked one of the districts of Zaporizhzhia with strike UAVs. As a result of the shelling, a private residential building caught fire. The fire was extinguished on an area of 100 square meters. The blast wave also damaged 2 neighboring residential buildings. So just so you understand, this isn't specific. Zaporizhzhia, that's Zaporizhzhia region, if I understand the message correctly. And now I'll tell you what Fedorov, who is a representative of the Zaporizhzhia region, is writing about. First of all, as of 8 in the morning, there was still a threat of drone strikes in the Zaporizhzhia region. And as reported, the enemy attacked several times last night. The regional center, 7 private houses were damaged. Utility services have begun to deal with the aftermath of everything that happened. These are the kinds of images being sent from Zaporizhzhia. This is what the Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration is publishing. One of the houses, as you can see, has its windows blown out. People are trying to deal with the aftermath of that strike. No balconies, no windows. So much for a ceasefire. This is what you need to know about the Russian Federation, and not only them. Here are more images being published, stories like these. This footage is from surveillance cameras recorded accordingly, and this is what Ivan Fedorov is reporting to us. Closer to midnight, the enemy attacked the city again. An enemy drone hit the ground in a residential area of the city, near apartment buildings. The blast wave damaged 5 apartment buildings and 2 private houses, shattering windows and destroying balconies. Rescue workers, police, and utility services immediately began emergency response operations. 2 women were injured, but they refused hospitalization. In total, after enemy attacks in the region, 24 patients aged between 26 and 79 are currently in hospitals. 5 of them are in serious condition. All are receiving the necessary assistance, reports Mr. Fedorov, and we will continue to monitor updates from our Air Force. At the moment, there is a drone attack on Zaporizhzhia, Chernihiv region, the north, a group of UAVs, Dnipropetrovsk region, UAVs targeting Slavnohorod, the south, Vasilkivka, Sinelnikove, Prosyane, and Pavlograd. So much for the ceasefire, but we understand that the Russians will once again say thank you. Yes, we agreed not to attack energy infrastructure, but we didn't agree to stop attacks altogether. But we'll see, as they say. Yesterday, Odessa was covered. There was fog. You couldn't see the city at all. These are the kinds of photos people posted. These are from the higher floors. Basically, this is what Odessa looked like yesterday. Everything was shrouded in fog. You couldn't even see the tops of some buildings. Here's another photo that was shared. It's important to note that this is what Odessa experienced yesterday due to the weather conditions, and these shots are from the upper floors. From the upper floors, as you can see, you can barely make out the tops of some buildings here and there, but basically the whole of Odessa was covered by this kind of fog yesterday, and the weather still promises to surprise us further. Today, a state of emergency is being prepared for, at least in Lviv. This was announced yesterday by Mayor Sadovyi. What is he saying? It's not my job to predict missile strikes or comment on loud statements about an energy truce. What do I know for sure? Meteorologists are forecasting a severe frost for this weekend. It could be even stronger than the previous one. We have an enemy who might take advantage of this and try to strike at the critical infrastructure of our cities. That's why a state of emergency preparedness has been launched in Lviv. All municipal services know what to do, but it's also important for the city's residents to be prepared. I ask everyone to do some simple things. Get organized and check the shelter you plan to use during an air raid alert. Charge your power banks and charging stations, but do not leave them unattended while charging. Stock up on a basic supply of food, drinking water, and medicine. Find out if there are people with disabilities in your building who cannot move on their own, or elderly people. If something bad happens, do not leave them behind. Inform the hotline. Trust only official sources of information. And also, yesterday, information also circulated in several Telegram channels that the State Emergency Service is allegedly being told to prepare, despite official statements. Regarding the energy truce, preparations are still being made for possible Russian shelling amid severe frosts. The State Emergency Service and other agencies have received an official warning about the assignment of the third red level of danger due to extremely cold weather. From February 1st to 3rd, temperatures could drop to -30 degrees, which will complicate the work of energy and utility companies, as well as disrupt road and rail transport. By the way, as promised, Dnipropetrovsk region is reporting, and now Ukrzaliznytsia has announced that a number of routes will either be delayed or have their schedules changed. Kharkiv region has also reported this. This is due to the weather and the current situation in the energy sector as a result of shelling by the Russian Federation. Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of the capital, reports that there is no heating in the capital. Currently, 454 residential buildings are without heat, most of them in Troieshchyna. This information is as of last night. Today, during the day, more than 100 buildings in Troieshchyna were reconnected to the heating system. Utility workers and energy specialists continue to work to restore heating to homes, reports the head of the capital, Vitaly Klitschko. Now let's see if he has an update as of this morning, 8:51. 378 apartment buildings in Kyiv are still without heat. Most of them are in Troieshchyna. Some are in several other districts of the capital. During yesterday, over 100 buildings in Troieshchyna were connected to heating for the first time, and another 50 were connected last night. Utility workers and energy specialists continue to work in different districts of the capital to restore heating to Kyiv residents' homes, according to the mayor of the city. So what else? As of now, in Kyiv, in Troieshchyna, the heating supply is gradually being restored, meaning warmth is returning to the buildings, and that's good news. But at the same time, accidents are happening, and we shouldn't forget about that either, because the networks have frozen. And I promise to tell you why we might be facing a technological or humanitarian catastrophe. Yesterday, we spoke with Ole Popenko, who is the head of the Union of Utility Consumers Services. This interview is available on our channel. You can watch it. First of all, the situation on Zabolotnoho Street is very serious. There is literally a critical situation with the sewage system there. You understand what this leads to. And Mr. Popenko said that some buildings might be left without heating. Not just for this heating season, but for the next one as well. Why? Because the sewage system burst, the pipes burst, and no one had repaired them for a long time. And restoring them won't be so easy because, first of all, there's the money, and secondly, the people. A significant number of large enterprises and companies did not properly retain their essential skilled workers. And you must understand that these specific workers, well, the dedicated utility workers, are the very people who fix these broken pipes, professional plumbers, and those who truly know how to repair these complex malfunctions. And Mr. Popenko said that 50% were reserved and 50% were not. And that's why there is actually a very big shortage of personnel who can deal with eliminating the consequences of everything that's happening in the utility sector. And of course, also a humanitarian catastrophe. Why? Because everything we have now, all these consequences regarding the sewage system, when it gets warmer, this whole situation will start to make itself felt. That's why we need to talk and think about this now and eliminate these consequences now. Let's see how the city's utility services will handle this. They are already working in an intensified mode, and we shouldn't forget that the authorities now need to focus specifically on ensuring that Kyiv residents have heating, electricity, and that they can eliminate the consequences as quickly as possible, rather than engaging in political infighting. This is also important, and we need to remember it as well,